Welcome everyone to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. In this episode, we're going to talk about EA saying they're fully committed to improving Battlefield 2042. So everyone should know how disastrous of a launch and still currently ongoing Battlefield 2042 is. It's a game that should never have released because it is broken to all hell. I, for one, me and Shane especially are huge Battlefield fans, and this one is like, man, throw it in the toilet and flush it because this ain't worth it. It's got so many problems with it. But EA says they're fully committed to improving the game. Apparently, so EA basically said that, they had a controversial launch. They said that the launch of Battlefield 2042 didn't meet expectations. You think it didn't meet expectations? Fans and people that were testing the game beforehand told you, put this back in the oven because it ain't done. And you're like, it'll be fine. And then what happened? You got food poisoning and you poisoned the entire community. So they're coming out saying they're going to work on it. They're committed to this game. They're committed to the process of bringing this game out or continuing to develop this game or work on it, even though it's already out, and make it the best Battlefield game you've possibly ever seen. They were supposed to bring out some patches here recently that got delayed. That brings back I don't know if it brings back the traditional scoreboard, but it brings back a scoreboard and some other fixes that they were needing to do. And they decided that they're going to delay that. And they need to delay that back to March, I believe it was. Because I think it was going to come out this month or something like that. So, yeah, that got delayed. I mean, EA's done this before, though, right? This isn't the first go around with it. But speaking of going around, let's go around and talk to everybody and see what they think about this. Shane, what do you think about EA's commitment?
Oh, man. It's a beautiful thing when somebody who violates you makes a commitment to you. I'm really touched. I'm dropping shit. That's how touched I am. Yeah,
he's getting violated right now.
Yeah, their commitment.
EA must be at his house right now.
Their announcement of their commitment to this is like when the Catholic Church says we're committed to stepping up pedophilia, and the next week we've had an incident. That's this whole thing. It's a bunch of shit. I mean,
we've gone this many days without incident.
Perfect example right there. And the zero is the people that they've reamed. So this is ridiculous. They knew the game was broke. They released it. It's not about the gamers. It wasn't about the game. It was about they have to get it out to keep their investors happy. Investors are happy when they make money. But when people are begging for refunds because the game's broke, when you try to play a game without crossplay, what do you get, Nick? A donut hole.
You get an error.
You get errors. You get no match found because nobody's playing because your shit is broke. It's great concepts. There really are some wonderful concepts in here and really interesting ideals, but everything that's wrapped around it is so bad. And there's so many concepts that are just half-assed in it. It just does not work. One of the biggest things Nick pointed out the first time we played it, the destructibility is basically gone. I mean, the weather event things, they happen, they do the damage. I can't blow a hole in a wall to take out 3 jackwads behind it in every map. It's a sad thing. The 3 of us getting there, we have to play, by ourselves because we can't play with people. Not that Pat likes other people, but we can't play with other people because we can't find matches because we don't want to cross play with PC players. It's just not a fair game. It's not. Plus, there's just way too many cheaters on PC. It's the same Halo controversy. So, them saying, we feel your pain and We're here for you. We're going to support you. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make you happy. We're going to put on your happy pants. We're going to take off that sad face. Kiss my butt. Don't sit there and bullcrap me. You're a scumbag company who scumbagged another game out to the public. And people, I'm glad, are requesting refunds, and they're out there fighting back a little bit. We need more of that. So before I throw like dirty underwear at the screen, I'm going to cool down. I'm going to throw this over to Pat. Pat, tell us your feelings.
Well, as you guys know, I don't care much for these games. They're okay with friends, but it is becoming the norm where just about every game has a day one patch. And this game was no exception. They had an update number 1 before the game even came out. And update 3, was it 6 days after the game came out? On November 24th, they had update number 2. December 1st, they did update number 3. December 8th, they did 3.1. And then January 19th, they did 3.2. I mean, it's fine to have some minor bug fixes and to fix some balancing issues and stuff that you didn't see until you get out there, But things like the stupid scoreboard and the damage, building damage and terrain damage, stuff like that was cool. And now it's gone. The typical scoreboard thing. I was like, hey, how do I see my kill, death, and all this other stuff? You don't get that. We're too PC for that, guys. We can't let you see how bad you did or how great you did. We have to hide that. And you can get to it, but you have to go through like multiple screens to get to it to see that info from the last match. I'm like, that's stupid. Match is over. I want to see my kill death ratio. How crappy did I do in that map? How many times did I become somebody's bait? Somebody just hunted me the whole map, or, maybe I had a really good match, which isn't that common, but, and then, the whole not being able to disable crossplay, or to disable crossplay, you got to go into the console and turn it off through the main settings menu. It's kind of garbage. Build that stuff in your menus. And then, by the time they fix this game, ain't nobody going to be playing it. So you're fixing it for that half a dozen, a couple hundred people that are still playing your game. It's, I think the gaming community as a whole is becoming disfranchised with the Battlefield and Call of Duty type franchises. That stuff's just too staple anymore, and people are like, I played this last year. Why do I want to play it again? What have you added new that I'm cool? That's going to be cool, I mean, it was cool to see the weather events, right? The space shuttle map was really cool to see the shuttle launch, the rocket launch. I mean, and then really cool to see the tornado and the one thing. But man, after that, it's like, okay, cool. I want to shoot that building with a tank and blow a hole in it, and, kill the guys hiding behind that pane of glass there, yeah. Stupid stuff like that. So, I mean, these games aren't my bread and butter, but I do like playing them with my friends. But when we can't play online because it's just garbage, it's unbalanced, too many bugs, can't disable crossplay with PC. I would love that. I don't care about disabling crossplay with any other console as long as console ecosystem stays strict the way it is. Allow me to just pick who I want to play cross-platform with. If this stuff ever comes to like another console, I want to be able to say, I want to play with these 3 consoles or these 2 consoles. I don't want to play with these PC players. Or maybe it is a game I do want to play with the PC players. Maybe it's a co-op game. And I'm like, I don't care. Co-op, bring these guys on, let them play. If they want to cheat in a co-op game, then their sad existence or whatever, just more power to them. Have fun. What about you, Nick? I know you and Shane play a lot more of these than I do. And I think you played a lot more of this game than either of us did, because you were pretty far the last time we played together in the opening and unlocking of things.
Yeah, he was cheating on us.
Yeah. It's sad because I love Battlefield. It's one of my favorite French online FPS games. And this one's just a disappointment. I did play it quite a bit, but like, it was like every map, the great thing I like about the older ones is like they had weather events, but every map had its own type of weather event. This one only had 2. It had tornado on like every single map and then a dust storm on one of them. And that was practically it. I missed like Battlefield 4, they had the map where the map that gets flooded halfway through. Or the dam breaks down the thing, you see the water rushing in and it floods and it changes the whole map, right? Because before you're kind of playing on the ground and in buildings and stuff, and now the ground's flooded and now you have to play on the rooftops and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And events like that, like the tower, the skyscraper falling down and stuff like that, and the level of destruction. I mean, this game is completely broken. It is not. They don't even have naval combat. They don't have naval ships and stuff in the game, which has always been there. Boats and warships and things like that. I mean, we have like limited weapons.
That's the year 2 patch. You got to pay for that.
Yeah. I mean, this is supposed to be 2042 and there's not that many advanced, if any, advanced things, right? I mean, this is like 20 years later, and from where we are now, and what? It's the same. We have the same military capabilities as we do today, like 20 years down the road. No mechs or anything like that. Like, I mean, come on. But, EA's full commitment. We've been here before. They said same thing with Anthem. They were even redoing Anthem Revisited or whatever the hell it was called. And then they're like, never mind. And then, EA does this all the time. There's so many games that they're committed to fixing, but they don't. And I feel like this is going to be another one where they're committed to fixing it. And about a year or so down the line, nothing's going to be fixed. The player base is going to die out, and it's going to go free to play, or it's going to go to the wayside, or they're going to talk about the next Battlefield. We'll fix it on the next one, or something like that. Battlefield right now, 2042 on Steam, its 24-hour peak was 5,038 players. So,
God, that brought a tear to my eye just hearing it.
They're fully committed to over-promising and under-delivering and just taking your money. They're fully committed to telling you they're fully committed, but that's about as far as that goes. That commitment is about as far as the taillight warranty.
Right. I mean, its all-time peak was 100,000, over 100,000 players, and they've lost half of that already. More than half, actually. And then they're just they're gonna dwindle that player base out. One of the things in this article is Andrew Wilson, the CEO. I think it might be the CEO for DICE. I'm not 100% sure on that, but basically he said that he had suggestions that basically challenges came from the pandemic related remote work, that contributed to less than stellar state of the game, than a less than stellar state of the game for launch.
Survey says horseshit.
He said, developing this game with our teams working from home for nearly 2 years ultimately proved to be challenging. Through our process and testing and preparation, we believe the experience was ready to be put in our players' hands. We launched with strong stability. However, as more players experienced the full game, it became clear that there were unanticipated performance issues that we would need to address. Some of the design choices we made with the game also did not resonate with everyone in our community. Performance issues. Well, let's see. There was tons of performance issues where people couldn't access the game. There was a bunch of lag and all sorts of stuff like that. As well as you couldn't hit anybody, right? We had hitboxes
issues. Were jacked up, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, guns, attachments. I don't even know if this is still fixed. Because in the games you get attachments for your weapons. I remember swapping them out and going, this attachment has the same stats as the other attachment. Like, what? What's the point?
You swap a gun and your gun completely disappears, and you're like, and I can't shoot. Stupid stuff like that. In an FPS, when you can't shoot.
We would get loaded in the game and our entire loadout would be gone, or what we had would be gone. The only thing we use is the default stuff. Right. And you can't change out the rifles or anything like that. And this game is full of it.
Yep. That's either when we have to restart the game or we just hop in the tank and run around the tank the whole match because you're not going to you got no guns, nothing. It's bad what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. They released it half-assed. They left a lot of features out that come standard with a Battlefield game.
Let me ask you this. If you turned on this game day one and it worked properly, you would probably be more surprised than by it being broken because it's EA. I mean, honestly, EA is the king of putting out broken games. They just are. I mean, you find me one developer who puts out more broken games. Statistically,
they're the king of destroying franchises.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing at all with that. I think though, I'm still, I don't know why. It's still surprising me to this day when they release a broken ass game. I'm like, how much money do you make? How much money is EA worth? How much money do you pump into your studios? Why do you still pump out crap that we're beta testing for you and you're making us pay to beta test your crap and fix your crap? Because basically that's what it is. We're paying them to beta test for their crap because it's broke. It's been broke since it released. And here we are in February, still broke. We paid you for a game that is broken. In my opinion, there needs to be a little bit more, just to prevent crap like this, there needs to be a little bit more legality in it. I want to say
consumer protection.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to say if I buy your game and it's broke day one and it's not fixed like within the first 7 days, I get a refund. I don't care if I played 80 hours that week, refund. Don't care. It's something that needs to be done so these people understand you can't put out broken shit and then expect people to pay a premium for it and keep paying for it, because you can't get off your ass and put something out that works day one. And when I mean broken, I mean like stupid broken, like broken, like unplayable broken. I don't mean like there's this tiny bug that if you do this thing just right, it affects your gameplay. I mean like lag. You can't play. You go in and the hit boxes are completely screwed up, so it affects rankings and match. Just all kinds of crap like that. That is broken. There needs to be some consumer protection to say, 30 days, 7 days, whatever. They need to be a staggered tier system, right? If the game is broken day one, and I can request a refund, full refund day one. 7 days, I get a 90% refund. 2 weeks, I get a 70% refund. 1 month, I get a 50% refund. Something, because they have to hurt the pocketbooks of these companies to get them to stop doing it. That's the only way to keep them from putting out crap that's not fully developed and fully released. I mean, could you imagine if a company that services other companies puts out something so bad, they wouldn't stay in business?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if your company made software for another company and if you put out something like this in the healthcare market or the financial market, and that little thing that programs that pacemaker has a fault in it, and sometimes every now and then they get a double beat or something, you're going to get the crap suit out of you. But in video games, it's not. There's no repercussions for putting out garbage or broken stuff. Not even garbage. I'm not talking broken.
Yeah, well, Grandpa was a beta tester, so he didn't.
Right, he was a beta tester for that.
This is ridiculous. Honestly, I think this should be the problem with what you said, Pat. Is, and don't get me wrong, I agree. Basically, I do agree. Is the fact that people take advantage of these things. We had a story a while back that it was a Steam game. The game takes like an hour to beat or 4 hours, something like that. And people will play 2 hours and they get the refund off of it. I can't remember what it was, what game it was, but the sad thing is people take advantage of it. Now, I believe the ESRB for the games, they should have something like that where you want to put a game to market, they should be given to an independent company to test 7 days, a week, a month, whatever, before the game can be released. It's not like when you buy a $12, $20 movie that you just don't like it. It sucked. It was a crap movie. You're buying something that's broken. That is clearly not what was advertised, because what was advertised worked. So I think there should be a independent reviewer that plays a game, gets a game for a week before release or something, that gets to check it out and identify all these things. And then they can legally, in some way go out and say, look, this game is busted at release. I want just a heads up. These are all the problems. They give basically a review before it comes out that's actually testing it. Not just, IGN's, oh, it was a fantastic game. It was amazing. Sure, it had a few issues, like you couldn't shoot, you lost your guns, you ran around, you were missing a leg. But it was fantastic, and that's not to pick on IGN. It's just to name it throughout. So I think there should be a better review system that actually reviews the problems with games, not the enjoyment or whether you like the story, but the technical aspect. We can call it FUBAR.
There you go. Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, and everyone's got to remember this game came out on November 19th last year, 2021. It has been almost 3 months, and they haven't even there's season 1. They even pushed back to make improvements to the game, and the improvements that were supposed to be out, they even pushed those back. By this time, season 1 should have already been out if the game was stable and working, right? But this game is so broken that you can't even bring out your seasons, that you have to go back and fix all these issues with it. This game was not ready to go. EA commitment is like, you might as well, it's nothing. It's thin air. There is no commitment from EA. EA is committed to fixing it unless it can't be fixed, right? Unless that player base is gone or they decide they're going to move on. That's how far EA's commitment goes. It goes about as far as you can throw it, which is not very far.
Yeah, EA's commitment goes as far as you just hit the nail on the head. When the customers are gone, they don't care. Like, what is their commitment to fix this game? It's a game as a service, really, is what it is, right? I mean, Battlefield 2042 technically is a game of service because they have skins and things you can buy and stuff like that. You can spend real money. The player base is already gone for that. I mean, I think if you're getting a 5,000 if Steam is reporting only 5,000 peak players at this time, when the game's not even it's almost hit 90 days, there's a problem. Your player base is gone already. You've already scared them away. You're probably the only thing that's going to save it is the seasons, which will bring more players back. But is it enough to save your games as a service schema that you got going on? Is it going to be enough to bring the players back once you fix the bugs? But that's the problem, is that we bought a game and it's full of bugs and nobody wants to go back to it because they're like, it's still buggy. It's still buggy. When are you going to fix this? And then the season's going to come out, and how many of these bugs are still going to exist? So EA is just that. I mean, because Anthem was supposed to be something very similar, and I loved Anthem, but it had no end game.
Same.
It was relatively a decent game. It just had no end game, and they were wanting to run this as some type of, I think they had games as a service in mind, even though they said they didn't. The end game was pretty much not non-existent. So it was fun to play through from start to finish. But once it got to the end, I was like, okay, it's the same thing over and over and over, and I'm done. And they wanted to fix it, and I'm like, what are you going to fix? But they wanted to fix things that, in my opinion, moved it to more towards a games as a service type game, and make it palatable to keep playing over and over and over. But yeah, EA will do the same thing with this. We're committed to fixing this, and then they're going to give it the Anthem treatment. We are canceling the commitment. The commitment didn't last very long. We tore up the marriage agreement. We're getting a divorce. Kids are going to the orphanage. We're putting the pets in the pound. That's what EA is going to do to it.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen with this is Battlefield 2042, the Portal. I think the Portal will go free to play as its own standalone. And I think Battlefield 2042 will remain around as a pay-for game for a little while. And then eventually just, if the player base dies off, it'll just die off on its own. And Battlefield Portal will become the new Battlefield.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Before we go, this is another huge, giant example of bigger, not better. It's another company who tried to make a game bigger, but not better. The maps were smaller in 4, but better by far. Absolutely by far. The Assassin's Creed this game, and it's broken because of it. They went bigger and bigger and bigger, not better and better. Nobody cares how big your freaking map is. What they care about is the quality of those maps. Plain and simple.
Everybody cares how big their junk is, Shane. You're lying. You're lying if you say you don't.
I love the size of my map, and so does your mom.
Yeah. Out of every Battlefield game, I mean, this was one for sure for me where I couldn't say, out of all the maps that are in Battlefield 2042, that there is not one that I absolutely love. In most Battlefields, there's usually one map, at least one, that I just love playing on. This one, I had none that I really was just in love with. I in most of them, I disliked the map design. I thought the map design was pretty bad compared to previous entries.
Yeah, no disagreements there at all. None of the maps had any special quality to them. And that sucks because, like you said, there's always that one, man. When you get that one on a playthrough, you're excited. the skyscraper one on this one, I enjoyed the most, and it's still crap. So,
Yeah.
Which skyscraper one? The desert one or the city one?
I think he's talking about the desert.
the desert one.
Yeah. The only one that I guess somewhat kind of like playing on was the one with the rocket ship. I mean, other than that, I didn't really care much for any of the other ones. And I really didn't care much for that one either, but I could stomach that one, I guess, to play on it. Just not good map design. Like, all the other Battlefields had great maps and maps I love to play on. This one just didn't have it. And, and also for them, I don't like they Call of Duty this one, they got rid of the class system and the class structure where there's, you can play as medic and assault and stuff like that. And they gave them the specialist class. Now you have specialist characters with their own personalities, names, and quirky one-liners at the end and stuff. And I was like, that's not Battlefield. Battlefield's, it's war is what it is. It's basically playing Axis versus Allies type thing. You know what I'm saying? It's that. It's just that. It's just war between two factions that are having war. We don't need crazy Bob over there that's all cool with the kids, and has quirky one-liners. It's like, that's not the game. We have those games. And if we want to play them, we will. This is not one of those games, right? Or shouldn't be.
No, and bring back the damn kill counter. God, that is
bring back
dumb.
a scoreboard.
I don't want people to feel bad that they
you
got
feel bad for them, man. You
died.
got to PC that up. They died too many times.
Yeah.
They got
everyone
more
gets a
deaths than kills.
participation trophy.
You know what? If we get rid of those little freaking I showed up trophies, maybe people would nut up and be, grow up. So that's just me.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what EA does with this. I'm sure it's another one. Might as well just flush this one down the toilet because they've, it came out crap and it's going to remain that way.
It's going to go live with Anthem.
It's going to go live with Anthem and the franchise graveyard that EA has been building for years.
They have the elephant grave. You've heard of the elephant graveyard? Welcome to the IP graveyard.
Yes, sir.
And EA's the gravedigger. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notifications. Stay updates with new videos that we do all the time. And also let us know what you think. Put down in the comments down below. What do you think of EA's commitment to Battlefield? You think they'll stick around and do their best to make a great game, or do you think EA's lying to you?
They're going to go out
us
for
know.
cigarettes.
And do you still play Battlefield 2042? And do you enjoy it? What are some things you like or whatever? But until next time, see you later.
See ya.